My wife invited her ex to our housewarming party and gave me an ultimatum. Be mature or we're done. So I shook his hand, looked him in the eye, and said 5 words that ended my 23-year marriage right there. My name is Dorian Carrington. I'm 47 years old, lead design engineer at Pinnacle Industrial Manufacturing in Charlotte. 23 years I've spent there, designing the steel frameworks that hold up warehouses and factories. Buildings that last. Foundations that don't fail. I thought I'd built the same thing at home. Nicole and I got married young. Me at 24, her at 23. 3 kids came along. Hannah 17 years ago, Nathan 10 years back, and Emma just 4 years ago. Big age gaps, but we made it work. Nicole climbed the corporate ladder fast, landed HR director at Pinnacle 5 years ago. Same company where I'd built my career. Power couple, people called us. 2 years ago, I bought us a house. 4-bedroom colonial in a quiet suburb. Paid cash, my name on the deed. Nicole said we'd add her later when we settled in. I didn't push it. Last month we finally moved in, and Nicole wanted to throw a housewarming party. That conversation happened on a Tuesday evening. I was in the garage sorting tools when Nicole walked in holding her phone and a glass of wine. She had that look, the one where she's already decided something and is just informing me. I've been thinking about the guest list for the housewarming, Nicole said, leaning against the workbench. I set down my drill. Okay, who are you thinking? The usual crowd. People from work, some neighbors, your brother. She paused, swirling her wine. And I invited Cameron. The name hit like a cold slap. Cameron Pierce. Her ex-boyfriend from college. The guy she called toxic and controlling when we first started dating. Cameron? Your ex-Cameron? Yes. Nicole took a sip, not meeting my eyes. He reached out a few months ago. We've been talking. He works at Pinnacle now, marketing department. Transferred in last quarter. My jaw tightened. He works at Pinnacle? Since when? Since March. I didn't mention it because I knew you'd overreact. Overreact? I said slowly. You've been talking to your ex for months. He works at our company. And you didn't think to mention it. Nicole's expression hardened. See? This is exactly what I mean. We're adults, Dorian. Cameron and I are friends now. That's it. I'm not letting your insecurity ruin our housewarming. The word stung. Nicole, this isn't about insecurity. It's about respect. You're inviting your ex to our home without discussing it first. She set the glass down with a sharp clink. I'm discussing it now, and I need you to be mature about this. Cameron is coming. If you can't handle that, then maybe we need to reconsider a lot of things. There it was. The ultimatum, delivered with the same cold precision she used when firing someone at work. I stared at her, my mind racing. Part of me wanted to say, absolutely not. But another part, the part that had spent 23 years keeping the peace, hesitated. Fine, I heard myself say. He can come. Nicole's shoulders relaxed. Thank you. I knew you'd understand. She walked back toward the house, leaving me with a sick feeling in my gut. That night, lying in bed next to her, I realized I'd just crossed a line I couldn't uncross. I'd given permission for something I knew was wrong, but I didn't know yet just how wrong it was. The next morning, I told Nicole I needed to run errands. She barely looked up from her laptop, already deep in spreadsheets and emails. Hannah was at school, Nathan at soccer practice, and Emma was at daycare. The house was quiet, too quiet. I drove across Charlotte to a storage facility on the east side. Unit 237. I'd rented it 3 years ago when I started planning my exit strategy. Sounds paranoid, I know. But 23 years in manufacturing teaches you one thing. Always have backup systems. Always prepare for structural failure. The unit smelled like concrete and old cardboard. Inside were 3 bankers' boxes, each labeled with innocuous names. Tax records, 2019. Insurance files. Personal documents. Nobody would look twice. I pulled out the first box and opened it on the floor. The house deed sat on top. Original copy, solely in my name. I'd told Nicole we'd transfer it to joint ownership once we were settled, but I'd never filed the paperwork. The house was mine, fully paid, no mortgage, no claim she could make. Beneath, that was the business documentation. 2 years ago, Nicole had pitched an idea, a consulting side business helping manufacturers improve their HR processes. She'd handle the marketing and client relations. I'd provide the technical expertise. Sounded good on paper. We set it up as an LLC. What Nicole didn't know was that I'd structure it carefully. The operating agreement listed me as sole member with full authority. She had access to the business account, sure, but I controlled the entity itself. Every contract, every client relationship, every asset was legally mine. I pulled out the bank statements next. Our joint account showed normal activity, mortgage payments, groceries, utilities. But there was another account, one I'd opened 5 years ago at a different bank. Every bonus, every overtime check, every consulting fee went there. Nicole never asked about the money because she assumed it all went into the joint account. It didn't. That separate account now held $240,000. The third item made my stomach turn. A manila envelope marked March-October. Inside were printouts. Screenshots from Nicole's laptop, the one that synced to our shared iCloud account. She'd gotten sloppy 6 months ago, stopped logging out. Text messages between her and Cameron. Hundreds of them. Started casual in March, got progressively more intimate. Nothing explicitly sexual, but the emotional affair was clear as day. Inside jokes, late-night conversations, plans to meet for lunch that stretched into 3-hour blocks. One message from August stood out. Can't wait for the housewarming. Finally get to see you outside work without raising suspicion. Her reply, I know, just have to keep Dorian calm. He'll come around. I sat back against the concrete wall, reading through the exchanges. They'd been planning this for months. The housewarming wasn't just a party. It was theater, a way to normalize Cameron's presence, to make me look like the unreasonable one if I objected. The final document was a letter I'd written 3 weeks ago. Sealed envelope, my handwriting on the front. If I leave. Inside was a single page. Nicole, if you're reading this, I'm already gone. You wanted maturity. This is it. I'm not fighting, not arguing, not giving you the satisfaction of a scene. The house is mine. The business is mine. The accounts you don't know about are mine. You chose to disrespect our marriage, so I'm choosing to remove myself from it. The kids will understand eventually. You made me a placeholder while you chased something else. I'm done being someone's backup plan. Dorian. I sealed everything back up, locked the unit, and drove to my attorney's office. James Pritchard had handled my father's estate years ago. Solid guy, discreet, didn't ask questions he didn't need answered. Dorian, he said, shaking my hand. What brings you in? I set a folder on his desk. I need you to prepare divorce papers. Everything in here. Assets, accounts, documentation. I want them ready to file, but don't file yet. I'll tell you when. James opened the folder, skimmed the contents, and let out a low whistle. You've been planning this. Just being prepared, I said. Can you have everything ready by next Friday? Absolutely. He closed the folder. Dorian, I have to ask, are you sure about this? I thought about Nicole's face last night. The cold dismissal, the ultimatum, the complete lack of respect for what we'd built. I'm sure, I said. That evening, I came home to find Nicole in the kitchen, excited about centerpiece ideas for the party. She showed me Pinterest boards, asked my opinion on color schemes. I smiled, nodded, played along. She had no idea the clock was already ticking. Friday evening, 3 days before the party, I was in the garage organizing boxes when Hannah appeared in the doorway. My 17-year-old daughter stood there with red eyes and her arms wrapped around herself like she was trying to hold something in. Dad, can we talk? Her voice shook. I set down the box I was holding. Of course. What's wrong? She stepped inside, closed the door behind her, and burst into tears. Not the dramatic teenage crying. This was deeper, raw. I pulled her into a hug and let her sob into my shoulder. Whatever it is, we'll figure it out, I said quietly. Hannah pulled back, wiping her face. I should have told you months ago. I'm so sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. My stomach dropped. Told me what? She took a shaky breath. Back in May, I was at the mall with friends. We went to that coffee shop near the food court, and I saw Mom. She paused. She was there with a man. Not you. I kept my voice steady. What were they doing? Sitting really close. Laughing. And then, Hannah's voice broke again. He kissed her. On the lips. Not long. But it wasn't some friendly thing, Dad. It was wrong. The garage felt smaller suddenly. Did she see you? Yeah. She came over after he left. Told me it was complicated, that I was too young to understand adult friendships. She said you'd overreact if you knew, that it would destroy our family. Hannah looked at me with devastated eyes. She made me promise not to tell you. And I kept that promise for 6 months while it ate me alive. I pulled her close again. This isn't your fault. None of it. But I should have told you, she whispered. I knew it was wrong. I knew Mom was lying. But I was scared. Scared you'd divorce. Scared Nathan and Emma would blame me for breaking up the family. Hannah, look at me. I waited until she met my eyes. You were put in an impossible position. Your mother manipulated you. That's on her, not you. She wiped her face with her sleeve. The guy from the mall? Is it Cameron? The one she invited to the party? I nodded slowly. Hannah's expression hardened with anger I'd rarely seen from her. She invited him here? To our house. She did. That's disgusting. Hannah's voice went cold. What are you going to do? I thought about the documents in storage, the attorney preparing papers, the careful planning. I'm going to handle it. But I need you to trust me and not say anything to your mother yet. Can you do that? She studied my face, reading something there. You already knew. I suspected. You just confirmed it. Hannah was quiet for a moment. Dad, I don't want to see her hurt you anymore. Whatever you're planning, I'm on your side. Nathan will be too when he's old enough to understand. What about Emma? She's 4. She'll love whoever shows up for her. Hannah's voice was matter of fact. And based on last year, that's been mostly you. She was right. I've been the one doing bath time, bedtime stories, parent-teacher conferences. Nicole had been present but absent, always on her phone, always distracted. After the party, I said carefully, things are going to change. It might be hard for a while. Hannah nodded. Good. It should change. She doesn't deserve what you've given her. That night, I lay awake thinking about my daughter carrying that secret for 6 months. The weight of it. The guilt. Nicole had used our own child as an accomplice in her betrayal. That was the moment I stopped feeling conflicted about what I was planning. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about showing my kids that self-respect isn't negotiable. That sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. Sunday morning, Nicole was obsessing over party decorations. I was in the office, supposedly checking emails when I pulled up the folder James had sent over. Divorce papers, asset division, custody arrangements. Everything clean, everything airtight. I printed one page, the property settlement showing the house solely in my name, folded it neatly, and slipped it into my wallet. Soon, the day before the party, Nicole was a whirlwind of activity. Grocery runs, flower arrangements, rearranging furniture. She'd taken the day off work, completely absorbed in making everything perfect. I watched her from the kitchen doorway as she adjusted a centerpiece for the 3rd time. She was humming something, genuinely happy, planning the party where she'd introduce her husband to her affair partner, like we were all civilized adults. Dorian, can you move the couch back about 6 inches? She called without looking at me. I want better flow for the space. I moved the couch. Perfect. She stepped back, admiring the living room like it was a magazine spread. Tomorrow's going to be amazing. I can feel it. Yeah, amazing. That afternoon, Nathan came home from soccer practice and found me in the garage. My 10-year-old son had been quieter lately, more withdrawn. I'd attributed it to puberty starting early, but now I wondered if he'd picked up on the tension. Dad, why is Mom so excited about this party? He asked, sitting on my workbench. She likes entertaining, I said carefully, showing off the new house. Nathan kicked his feet against the bench. Hannah's been weird too. She keeps looking at Mom like she's mad or something. Kids notice everything. Hannah's just stressed about college applications. He didn't look convinced, but let it drop. Are you excited about the party? I thought about how to answer that honestly without revealing too much. I'm more interested in what happens after the party. Like what? Like getting back to normal. Just us as a family, without all the fuss. Nathan seemed to accept that. He hopped off the bench and headed inside, leaving me with my tools and my thoughts. That evening, I got a text from James. Everything's ready. Just say when. I replied, Sunday morning. I'll call you. Nicole came into the office while I was putting my phone away. Hey, I need you to pick up the wine order tomorrow morning. Giuseppe's Liquor on 5th Street. Should be ready by 9. Sure, I said. She lingered in the doorway. Thank you for being so supportive about all this. I know the Cameron thing was awkward at first, but I'm glad you came around. It means a lot that you trust me. The audacity of that statement nearly made me laugh. Trust her. After 6 months of lies, secret meetings, manipulating our daughter, she actually believed I'd bought her performance. Of course I trust you, I said, meeting her eyes. We're partners, right? She smiled, genuinely relieved. Right. Partners. After she left, I opened my laptop and pulled up the bank account she didn't know about. Transferred another $15,000 from our joint account. Payment for the party supplies she'd racked up on the credit card. Might as well move it now, before she noticed. Then I opened the iCloud messages again. New text from today. Cameron. Can't wait for tomorrow. Finally going to meet the famous Dorian. Nicole. Just be normal. He's been surprisingly cool about everything. Cameron. You sure he doesn't suspect? Nicole. He's clueless. Too busy with work and the kids to notice anything. I closed the laptop and sat in the dark office. Clueless. That's what she thought. That I was some oblivious fool sleepwalking through my own life while she orchestrated her exit. Tomorrow she'd learn different. Tomorrow Cameron would shake my hand, walk into my house, stand in the living room I'd paid for. And that's when I'd show them both exactly how clueless I wasn't. I pulled out my phone and texted Hannah, stay close to Nathan and Emma during the party tomorrow. When I leave, take them to Grandma's house. Don't ask questions, just go. She replied immediately. Okay. I love you, Dad. Love you too, sweetheart. Everything was in place. The paperwork ready, the assets secured, the exit planned. Nicole wanted her party. She was going to get it, just not the way she expected. Saturday morning, party day. I woke up to Nicole already moving around the house like a tornado, checking lists and barking orders about ice and napkins. I made coffee and stayed out of her path. Hannah came downstairs early, gave me a knowing look, and took Nathan and Emma out for breakfast. Smart girl, getting them away from the chaos. Around noon, Nicole cornered me in the kitchen. She looked stressed, perfect hair slightly messy, still in her robe. Dorian, I need you to promise me something. I set down my coffee. What's that? Tonight, when Cameron gets here, I need you to be mature about this. Her voice had that edge again. No weird tension, no passive-aggressive comments. Just be normal. I looked at her carefully. Define mature. You know what I mean. Act like an adult. Be welcoming. Show him we're secure enough in our marriage that old relationships don't threaten us. The irony was almost beautiful. She was lecturing me about security while planning to parade her affair partner through her living room. And if I can't do that? I asked evenly. Nicole's expression hardened. Then maybe we need to have a serious conversation about our future. Because I'm not going to live with someone who's so insecure he can't handle me having male friends. There it was. The ultimatum delivered 12 hours before she'd regret it. I stepped closer, keeping my voice calm. Let me make sure I understand. You want me to welcome your ex-boyfriend, the one you've been secretly meeting with for months, into the house I bought and paid for. And if I don't play along with that, you're threatening our marriage. She blinked, caught off guard by my directness. I haven't been secretly meeting anyone. We work together. And yes, we've had lunch a few times. That's what colleagues do. Colleagues. I nodded slowly. Is that what we're calling it? What's that supposed to mean? I could have thrown the evidence at her right then. The screenshots, the texts, Hannah's testimony. Could have watched her face crumble as the lies fell apart. But I held back. Nothing, I said. You want me to be mature? I'll be mature. Nicole studied me suspiciously. You're being weird. I'm being exactly what you asked for. I picked up my coffee and walked away, leaving her standing in the kitchen looking unsettled. That afternoon, guests started arriving around 5. The house filled quickly. Co-workers from Pinnacle, neighbors, some of Nicole's college friends. She worked the room like a politician, laughing and hugging people, playing the perfect hostess. I stayed near the kitchen, nursing a beer and watching. Hannah kept Nathan and Emma occupied in the backyard. My daughter caught my eye once and mouthed, when I held up 6 fingers. 6:30. That's when Cameron was supposed to arrive. At 6:20, Nicole came over. He just texted. He's 5 minutes away. Okay, I said simply. She looked at me, suspicious again. You're really okay with this? I met her eyes. Nicole, I promised you I'd be mature. Have I ever broken a promise to you? That seemed to satisfy her. She actually smiled, relieved, and touched my arm. Thank you. This means a lot. The doorbell rang at 6:28. Nicole practically ran to answer it. I set down my beer and walked toward the entrance, positioning myself where I could see everything clearly. Cameron Pierce walked in wearing designer jeans and a fitted shirt that probably cost more than my work boots. Tall, confident, the kind of guy who'd never done manual labor in his life. He hugged Nicole, too long, too familiar, and said something that made her laugh. Then Nicole turned, spotted me, and waved me over. Cameron, this is my husband, Dorian. Cameron extended his hand, smile wide and fake. Dorian, finally. Nicole's told me so much about you. This house is incredible, man. You've got great taste. I looked at his hand, looked at Nicole's expectant face, looked at the dozen people nearby, watching this introduction. Then I shook his hand and leaned in close enough that only he could hear. I'll never be mature about this, I said quietly. And she's all yours now. I released his hand and stepped back, speaking louder. Excuse me. I'm leaving. Cameron's smile froze. What? Nicole grabbed my arm, voice sharp with panic. Dorian, what are you doing? I looked down at her hand, then at her face. You wanted maturity. This is it. You invited him. He's here. But I'm not staying in my own house to watch you disrespect me. The room went silent. Conversations died mid-sentence. Someone's wine glass clinked against the table, absurdly loud in the sudden quiet. Nicole's face cycled through confusion, anger, fear. You're making a scene. No, I said calmly. You made the scene when you invited your affair partner to our housewarming. I'm just removing myself from it. Her eyes went wide. We're not. I pulled out my phone, opened a screenshots folder, and held it where she could see. Text messages, dates, times. Her messages to Cameron from 3 hours ago. Can't wait to see you tonight. Deep doesn't suspect a thing. Nicole's face went white. Cameron took a step back, looking between us. Look, man, I think there's been a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, I said, not looking at him. You can have her. The house is mine. The business is mine. Everything she thought we built together was actually just mine, and she was a guest. I pulled an envelope from my jacket pocket and handed it to Nicole. Divorce papers. My attorney will contact yours Monday morning. Don't bother fighting the asset division. You won't win. Nicole opened the envelope with shaking hands, scanning the first page. Her face went from white to gray. The house, you can't. It's in my name. Always has been. You wanted to add yourself later, remember? I looked around at the guests, all frozen and watching. Sorry to ruin the party, folks. But my soon-to-be ex-wife decided to use our housewarming to introduce me to the man she's been cheating with. Seemed like a good time to correct that situation. Someone near the back whispered, "Oh my God." I spotted Hannah in the hallway, already holding Emma's hand with Nathan beside her. She nodded once. I nodded back. Hannah's taking the kids to my mother's, I said to Nicole. You can see them when we work out custody arrangements. Through lawyers. Dorian, please. Nicole's voice cracked. Can we just talk about this privately? We could have talked 6 months ago when you started seeing him. We could have talked when you invited him here. But you chose this. I gestured at the room, full of witnesses. So now everyone knows exactly who you are. I turned to Cameron, who looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. Good luck with her. Hope you've got a prenup lined up, because she's going to need a new meal ticket. Then I walked to the door. Behind me, Nicole was crying. Someone, sounded like her friend Maya, was asking what the hell was going on. Cameron was trying to explain himself to someone else. I didn't care. Didn't look back. Outside, I climbed into my truck and sat for a moment. My hands weren't shaking. My heart was steady. I felt calm for the first time in months. Hannah's car pulled out with Nathan and Emma inside. She followed me as I drove to my mother's house across town. Inside, Mom took one look at my face and said, "Finally. You knew. Mothers always know. Been waiting for you to stand up for yourself." She hugged me tight. "You did good, son." That night, lying in my childhood bedroom with my kids asleep down the hall, I got a series of texts. "Nicole, please come home so we can talk." "Nicole, you humiliated me in front of everyone." "Nicole, I made a mistake, but we can fix this." "Nicole, Dorian, please. I love you." I deleted every message without responding. Then one from Hannah. "I'm proud of you, Dad." We all are. That one I kept. Monday morning, I met with James at his office to finalize the divorce filing. He spread the documents across his desk like a battle plan. Nicole's attorney contacted me over the weekend. James said, "Daniel Foster, good lawyer, but he's working with nothing. Once he sees the asset documentation, he'll advise her to settle." What's she asking for? Half of everything. The house, your retirement accounts, the business, spousal support. James smiled grimly. She actually thinks she's entitled to the life you built. What are we offering? Nothing. She gets her personal belongings and whatever's in the joint checking account. Currently about $8,000. He slid a document toward me. The house was purchased before marriage with separate funds. Yours. The business LLC lists you as sole member. Your retirement accounts were established before you met her and funded entirely by you. What about the kids? With Hannah's testimony about the manipulation and the affair evidence, we're asking for primary custody. Nicole gets supervised visitation until we establish she's not bringing Cameron around them. I signed the papers. How long until this is done? North Carolina requires a year's separation before divorce is final. But we can have everything else settled within 3 months if she doesn't fight. James leaned back. Dorian, I've been doing this 23 years. I've never seen someone plan an exit this thoroughly. You documented everything. I'm an engineer. I don't leave structural weaknesses. That afternoon, I got a call from Pinnacle's HR director. Not Nicole, but her boss, Patricia Vaughn. Dorian, I need you to come in for a meeting. It's regarding a personnel matter. What kind of matter? I'd rather discuss it in person. Can you come by tomorrow morning? I showed up at 8, wearing my work clothes, steel-toed boots and all. Patricia met me in a conference room with another HR rep I didn't recognize. Dorian, thank you for coming. Patricia looked uncomfortable. We've received multiple reports about an incident at your home this past Saturday. Reports that involve Nicole and Cameron Pierce. What kind of reports? That you accuse them both of having an affair in front of company employees and guests. She folded her hands. We need to understand what happened. I pulled out my phone and showed her the screenshots. This is what happened. My wife and a Pinnacle employee conducted an affair, including meetings during work hours. I have documentation of texts sent on company time, using company devices. Patricia's face went pale as she scrolled through the evidence. There's more, I said. Check Cameron's expense reports from the last 4 months. You'll find several lunches and dinners charged to the company. The person he was meeting with wasn't a client. The other HR rep was taking notes frantically. We take workplace conduct very seriously, Patricia said carefully. This will require an investigation. I'm sure it will. But I wanted you to know that I kept my personal life separate from work for months. Nicole chose to make it public by inviting Cameron to our home and forcing a confrontation. I stood up. I've given you everything you need. What you do with it is your decision. 2 days later, Cameron Pierce was terminated. Nicole was placed on administrative leave pending review. The rumor mill at Pinnacle was running overtime, but I kept my head down and focused on work. Hannah had moved into my mother's house with me, helping with Nathan and Emma. My 17-year-old daughter had become fiercely protective of her younger siblings. Mom called again, Hannah said Wednesday evening. Want to talk to us? What did you tell her? That we're not ready. Hannah's voice was hard. She made me lie for her for 6 months, Dad. She doesn't get to pretend that didn't happen. Nathan was quieter, processing everything in his own way. I found him in the garage Saturday afternoon, sitting on my workbench. Dad, are you and Mom getting divorced? I sat down next to him. Yeah, buddy. We are. Because of Cameron. Because your mom made choices that broke our family. Cameron was part of it, but it's bigger than just him. Nathan kicked his feet against the bench. Is it my fault? No. I put my arm around him. None of this is your fault. Not yours. Not Hannah's. Not Emma's. This is between adults who couldn't keep their promises to each other. Are we going to be okay? We're going to be better than okay. It might take some time, but we'll figure it out together. 3 weeks after the party, I got the call I'd been dreading and expecting in equal measure. Mr. Carrington, this is Dr. Patricia Reynolds from Charlotte Family Services. I've been assigned to conduct the custody evaluation for your case. We met at her office the following Tuesday. Dr. Reynolds was mid-50s, professional, with the kind of eyes that saw through nonsense. Tell me about your marriage, she said. I walked her through everything. The timeline, the affair, Nicole's manipulation of Hannah. I showed her the documented evidence, screenshots, bank records, Hannah's written statement. And the night of the party, Dr. Reynolds said, some might say that was a dramatic way to handle the situation. Maybe, but I wasn't going to let my children grow up thinking it's normal for a spouse to disrespect you in your own home. I met her eyes. I wanted them to see that self-respect isn't negotiable, that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away, even at a party, in front of everyone. Especially then, Nicole chose that setting. She invited her affair partner to our housewarming, put me in a position where I either accepted the humiliation or stood up for myself. I chose the latter. Dr. Reynolds made notes. I'll need to interview the children separately. And Nicole. Of course. The interviews happened over the next 2 weeks. Hannah went first and came out looking relieved. I told her everything. About seeing them at the mall, about Mom making me keep secrets. Nathan's interview was shorter. He told Dr. Reynolds that he wanted to live with me because Dad's always been there. Emma, at 4 years old, mostly talked about her stuffed animals and the swing set. But when asked who took care of her, she said, Daddy, without hesitation. Nicole's interview apparently didn't go well. James got a call from her attorney the day after. They want to settle, James said. She'll accept your custody proposal and won't contest the asset division. What changed? The custody evaluator's preliminary assessment wasn't favorable, and Daniel Foster finally explained to Nicole that her affair partner being a Pinnacle employee who got fired creates serious problems for her credibility. So she's giving up? She's being realistic. The alternative is a trial where all of this becomes public record. Her career at Pinnacle is already hanging by a thread. She can't afford more exposure. The settlement came through 4 weeks later. I got primary custody with Nicole having visitation every other weekend. The house, the business, the retirement accounts, all confirmed as separate property. She got the joint checking account and her car. Nicole signed the papers without a word. The day the agreement was finalized, I took the kids to their favorite restaurant. Nathan ordered a burger bigger than his head. Emma got chicken fingers, and Hannah, my brave, strong daughter, ordered steak. Are we celebrating? Nathan asked. We're acknowledging that a hard chapter is over, I said, and we're starting a new one. Hannah raised her water glass. To better chapters. We clinked glasses, soda for Nathan, apple juice for Emma. That night, tucking Emma into bed, she looked up at me with those big eyes. Is Mommy sad? Probably, I said honestly. Because you don't live together anymore. Because she made mistakes, and now she has to live with the consequences. Emma thought about that. Do you still love her? I chose my words carefully. I love who I thought she was. But that person doesn't exist anymore. Oh, Emma hugged her stuffed rabbit. I love you, Daddy. Love you too, sweetheart. 2 months after the party, I got a text from an unknown number. When I opened it, I saw it was from Cameron. For what it's worth, I didn't know she was going to invite me to your house. She told me you two were separated and just keeping up appearances for the kids. I'm not trying to make excuses. Just wanted you to know I'm not proud of how this went down. I stared at the message for a long moment. Part of me wanted to respond, to tell him exactly what I thought. But another part, the part that had already moved on, realized he wasn't worth the energy. I blocked the number without replying. 4 months after the party, I sat in James's office reviewing the final divorce decree. Everything was settled. Custody, assets, everything. All that remained was the mandatory separation period. Nicole's attorney reached out yesterday, James said. She's asking if you'd be willing to do mediation for the kids' sake. Work out a more flexible visitation schedule. What do you think? I think she's realizing that supervised every other weekend isn't sustainable long-term. And honestly, the kids are doing well. Hannah's thriving. Nathan's grades improved. Even Emma seems more stable. He leaned back. If you want to be generous, you could agree. If not, hold the line. I thought about Nathan asking if we had to keep seeing her. About Hannah's anger at being manipulated. About Emma calling me at bedtime every night, even on Nicole's weekends. No mediation, I said. The custody arrangement stands as written. If she wants modifications down the road, she can petition the court and show she's made real changes. James nodded. I'll let them know. That weekend, I moved into a new house. Not the colonial I'd built my marriage in. I'd sold that to a nice family from Ohio for $20,000 over asking. This was a ranch-style place with 4 bedrooms, a big backyard, and enough space for the kids to spread out. Hannah claimed the bedroom with the bay window. Nathan wanted the one closest to the garage. Emma picked the room with purple walls because it's like a princess castle. We spent Saturday unpacking boxes and assembling furniture. Hannah helped me mount the TV while Nathan organized the garage tools. Emma supervised from the couch, offering commentary like that picture's crooked and Daddy, you're doing it wrong. By Sunday evening, the house felt like home, more than the colonial ever had. That night, tucking Emma in a bed in her purple room, She asked, "Are you happy now, Daddy?" The question caught me off guard. "What makes you ask that?" "You smile more. You're not tired all the time like before." Out of the mouths of babes. "Yes, sweetheart. I'm happy now." "Good." She hugged her stuffed rabbit. "Me too." Monday morning, I got a call from Patricia Vaughn at Pinnacle. "Dorian, I wanted to let you know that Nicole submitted her resignation effective 2 weeks from today. She's leaving. Given the circumstances and the investigation findings, we felt it was appropriate. She wasn't terminated, but strongly encouraged to pursue opportunities elsewhere." Patricia paused. "I also want to say that your professionalism throughout this situation has been exemplary. You've never let personal matters interfere with your work. I try to keep things separate. Not everyone can do that. Your next performance review is going to reflect your dedication." After the call, I sat at my desk thinking about Nicole. She'd lost her job, her marriage, her home, primary custody of her kids, all because she couldn't keep her promises. Part of me felt bad for her, but a larger part remembered Hannah's tears, Nathan's confusion, Emma asking why Mommy didn't live with us anymore. Actions have consequences. Nicole was learning that the hard way. That evening, Nathan asked if he could talk to me privately. We sat on the back porch while Hannah and Emma watched a movie inside. "Dad, I need to tell you something." He looked nervous. "About a year ago, maybe longer, I heard Mom on the phone late at night. I got up to get water, and she was in her office. The door was open a little. My stomach tightened." "What did you hear?" "She was laughing. Like, really happy laughing. And she said something like, 'I can't wait to see you,' and 'Dorian doesn't pay attention anyway.'" Nathan's voice was small. I didn't know what it meant then, but now I do. I pulled him into a hug. That must have been scary to carry around. I thought maybe I misheard, or it was just work stuff. He pulled back. "But it wasn't, was it?" "No, buddy. It wasn't. I should have told you. You were 10 years old. That wasn't your responsibility." I look him in the eye. "None of this was your job to fix or prevent. Your mother made her choices. That's on her. Not you, not Hannah, not anyone but her." Nathan nodded slowly. "Are we going to be okay?" "We already are okay, and we're going to keep getting better." Later that night, after the kids were asleep, I stood in my new kitchen drinking coffee and looking out of the backyard. The swing set I'd installed last weekend. The garden Hannah wanted to start in spring. The basketball hoop Nathan had asked for. This was home. This was family. Not perfect, but honest. Not what I'd planned, but what we'd built from the ruins. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I opened it. "Dorian, it's Nicole. I know I'm not supposed to contact you directly, but I needed to say this. I'm sorry. For everything. I destroyed the best thing I ever had because I was selfish and stupid. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. What I had, what I threw away. I hope someday the kids can forgive me. I understand if you never do." I read it 3 times. Thought about responding. Thought about all the things I could say. The accusations, the anger, the pain. Then I deleted the message and blocked the number. She didn't deserve my forgiveness, and I didn't need to give it to move forward. 8 months after the party, life had settled into a new rhythm. Hannah was preparing for college. She'd gotten early acceptance to North Carolina State with a partial scholarship. Nathan had joined the middle school robotics team and was thriving. Emma had started kindergarten and made friends with half her class in the first week. I'd been promoted to senior design engineer at Pinnacle with a substantial raise. The extra money went into college funds for the kids and a renovation budget for the house. The divorce was finalized in October. Nicole and I were officially done. She'd moved to Winston-Salem for a new job, something in recruiting. The distance meant she saw the kids less frequently, but the visits were slowly becoming less supervised as she proved she could maintain boundaries. Hannah went to see her once, came back quiet. When I asked how it went, she said she cried a lot, apologized for everything. I told her I wasn't ready to forgive her yet, maybe not ever. She said she understood. How do you feel about that? Relieved, mostly. Like I don't have to pretend anymore. Hannah looked at me. Is that terrible? No, sweetheart. That's honest. Nathan still struggled with it. Some days he wanted to talk to Nicole. Other days he didn't want to hear her name. I let him process at his own pace, kept him in therapy, and made sure he knew I was there whenever he needed to talk. Emma, resilient as ever, adapted. She talked to Nicole on video calls every few days, kept her updated on kindergarten adventures, showed her artwork. The innocence of being 5 years old meant she could maintain a relationship without carrying the weight of betrayal. December brought snow and the holidays. We decorated the new house together, putting up a tree in the living room and lights along the porch. Hannah invited her boyfriend over for dinner, a polite kid named Travis who was terrified of me until Nathan made a joke and broke the tension. On Christmas morning, we opened presents in our pajamas. Emma got the art supply she'd been begging for. Nathan unwrapped a new gaming console with appropriate amounts of teenage enthusiasm. Hannah opened an envelope containing a check for her first semester textbooks and cried, "Dad, this is too much." "It's exactly enough," I said. "You've been strong for this family all year. Let me do this for you." After the kids went to bed that night, I sat alone in the living room looking at the tree. Thought about where we'd been a year ago. Me sleeping in the guest room of my mother's house. Kids confused and hurting, future uncertain. Now we had stability. We had peace. We had each other. My phone buzzed. Text from James. "Merry Christmas. Hope you and the kids are doing well." I replied, "We are. Better than well. Thank you for everything. You did the hard part. I just did the paperwork." But he was wrong. The hard part wasn't the legal battle or the custody fight. The hard part was choosing self-respect over comfort. Walking away from someone I'd loved for 23 years because staying would have taught my kids that disrespect was acceptable. The hard part was showing them that sometimes love means letting go. New Year's Eve, I took the kids to my mother's house for dinner. She'd been our rock through everything, housing us, watching the kids, offering wisdom without judgment. "You look good, son," she said while we cleaned up after dinner. "Lighter." "I feel lighter. That woman nearly broke you. I'm glad you got out when you did." "Me too, Mom." She hugged me tight. "Your father would be proud. He always said a man's worth isn't in what he tolerates, but in what he refuses to accept." Later, watching the ball drop on TV with 3 sleeping kids sprawled around me, I thought about the year ahead. Hannah graduating and heading to college. Nathan entering high school. Emma growing up faster than I could track. A year ago, I'd been planning a housewarming party that would destroy my marriage. Now I was planning a future built on honesty and strength. My phone buzzed one last time. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Then curiosity won. "Happy New Year, Dorian. I heard about your promotion. You deserve it. I hope you and the kids are happy. That's all I ever really wanted for you, even if I destroyed it myself. Take care." N. I stared at the message for a long moment. Thought about Nicole in Winston-Salem, alone on New Year's Eve, reaching out to the family she'd lost. Then I deleted the message, turned off my phone, and pulled Emma closer as she slept on my shoulder. Some bridges you burn. Some you just stop crossing. Either way, you keep moving forward. And we were moving forward just fine.